Я сегодня буду помогать с переводом нашей презентации Университета Cattolica и моей коллегой Элизабет. Пожалуйста, напишите нам в чатах, всем ли хорошо все видно, все слышно, чтобы мы понимали, что наша связь налажена. И, собственно, мы можем приступать к нашей презентации. Elizabeth, you can start with the presentation and also tell maybe a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth, and I am actually the prospect manager for international students interested in studying on our Rome campus, which is the campus home to all of our medical and healthcare related studies at Università Cattolica. So my job is to help all of the people who are interested in coming to study medicine or another related field in Rome to understand the application processes and to check to make sure that their academic history is eligible for enrollment so that we can pass on the application to the International Admissions Office, who verifies and makes sure that the credentials that you have received from your high school career are going to be admissible for our programs here in Italy. I have a little bit of an interesting story. Yeah, go ahead.
I do believe that I need to translate a little bit. If you don't mind to make some pauses, I will appreciate. Итак, дорогие друзья, Элизабет является представителем Университета Католики, работает она непосредственно в факультете, связанном с медициной, околомедицинскими специализациями. И сегодня она нам расскажет интересные моменты, связанные с поступлением, с процессом поступления, как правильно поступать, да, что они дальше делают с вашими документами, пересылают в приемную комиссию, которая оценивает ваши документы как иностранного студента, и что же дальше с этим всем происходит, вам все секреты Элизабет расскажет.
Perfect. So, as I was saying, one of our main responsibilities in the international recruitment and admissions offices at Cattolica is just to ensure that all of our students know what the requirements are for entrance to university level studies in Italy. So today I'm going to talk to you in general about Università Cattolica's medical faculty, medical program, and the degree that's to study medicine and surgery in English. But to get started, I'm going to show you a little bit of a background on the overall higher education system and the way that education works in Italy, so you understand the criteria that you need in order to apply to our program.
Итак, сегодня Элизабет нам расскажет все, скажем так, секреты с точки зрения приемной комиссии Университета Cattolica, связанные именно с медицинскими программами. И для этого вы можете обратить внимание на слайде. Вы можете видеть схему высшего образования в Италии, потому что она немного отличается от нашей страны, например, да, от России или от каких стран СНГ. И чтобы у вас было больше понимания, как и что происходит, соответственно, нам просто обратить вас внимание на вот эту схему.
So in Italy, before going to the university, something important to understand is that the students here actually study for a total of 13 years. The traditional academic system has 5 years of high school. So before our students come to the university level, the Ministry of Education in Italy has required that you have a minimum of 12 years of pre-university education. So this is something that we need to discuss together, and we will discuss working through your application phases. If for some reason you have 11 years of schooling, which I know is common in Russia, then there are ways that you can get this extra 12th year that you need in order to apply to our programs.
И, как вы можете обратить внимание на схеме, вы видите, что 13 лет учатся школьники в Италии непосредственно. Сама старшая школа занимает порядка 5 лет. И это серьезно отличается от требований российской школы, где мы учимся всего лишь 11 лет, и, соответственно, приемная комиссия что делает? Она просто просит вас написать пояснение, почему у вас такое образование, да, и рассмотреть какие-то возможности, какие-то опции поступления именно для вас в вашем конкретном случае, поскольку, ну, Элизабет знает, что в России это нормальная практика, когда школьники заканчивают свое обучение на 11 году, в 11 классе в школе.
So just so you can see on this slide, also there are two different bachelor degree, let's say, courses that you could enter into after you finish high school. And you can see on the top of this slide that there is a 3-year program. And then what we are going to talk about today specifically is the medicine and surgery program. And that is going to be actually a 6-year program. So I will get into more details about that afterwards, but I just wanted to let you know that there are these two different ways to enter the university in Italy, and one is considered a bachelor's degree that is 3 years, and the other is a bachelor and master's degree combined, and they are 5 to 6 years. Today we'll talk about a 6-year program.
И опять-таки вы можете обратить внимание, что есть две разные программы бакалавриата. Программа бакалавриата, которая длится 3 года, и программа бакалавриата, которая длится 5-6 лет, совмещенная, скажем так, программа бакалавра и магистра, в частности, по медицине. Помимо этого, также такие программы есть в образовании и в праве. Да? Но сегодня мы сосредоточимся именно на медицинских программах, которые занимают 5-6 лет.
So now that you know a little bit about the overall academic system in Italy, I like to usually start off by putting up a few questions that we think are sort of fun that people tend to ask us when they're interested in coming to Italy. The first question that we have here, people are asking, do I need to know how to speak Italian? So for our program, that's an English taught medicine and surgery program, the answer is no, but maybe you would want to be interested in learning Italian as soon as you get here, because you don't need to know Italian to take your academic courses. Everything will be taught in English, but you will want to know Italian in order to get around in the town. You'll be able to be in Rome. You're going to need to speak to people in the local language eventually. And also, you want to keep in mind that as a medical student, we have 3 years in the classroom, which are more theoretical based, the academic foundations that you need in order to move into a clinical phase. So the second 3 years of our program, you will be studying in the hospital. And once you get into the hospital, it's really important that you do have an understanding of the Italian language, because you're going to need to interact with patients, you're going to need to interact with other doctors, and you're going to want to observe and hear and understand everything that's going on around you. So you don't need to know Italian in order to study at Università Cattolica through our English taught program, but you're going to want to understand the language in order to live your life and move on to succeed and complete the program.
И несколько, скажем так, мифов и правдивых фактов об образовании, высшем образовании в Италии. Первый, самый распространенный вопрос: необходимо ли мне знать итальянский язык для того, чтобы обучаться в Италии? В самом университете Cattolica данная программа по медицине, она проводится на английском языке, и для изучения этой программы вам не нужен итальянский язык. Но для того, чтобы проходить различные практики, для того, чтобы уметь общаться с людьми, в основном жители Италии говорят на итальянском языке, вам все-таки вы столкнетесь с такой потребностью, как изучение итальянского языка, и, собственно, если вы захотите во время своего обучения его изучать, у вас будет такая возможность. Но для обучения сам язык не нужен. Все обучение полностью на английском языке.
So the next myth or truth that we have here on this slide is studying in Italy expensive? I usually like to say that depends on how much you like to shop or eat or go out in the afternoons, because that there are plenty of things that you can do here in Italy that can cost a lot of money. But overall, studying in Italy is not really expensive at all, especially if you consider the cost of living in Rome. And I will talk to you a little bit more about Rome and the benefits of living in Rome. But one of the things that I find after living all over the world is that to be able to live in Rome for about 10 to 12,000 euro a year, which is the European capital, the capital of Italy in the center of Europe, this is a really great deal. Also, I'm a little bit biased, I suppose, because I'm American, so I like to compare our tuition fees to what you would have to pay in the United States for the same quality of teaching and the same level of rankings in the university. And I can tell you that we are not even half of what a competitor in the US would cost as far as tuition fees are concerned. So personally, I would say that no, this is a myth. Studying in Italy is not that expensive if you compare to our competitors around the world.
И второй миф, который мы хотим развенчать, да, насколько дорогое образование в Италии. На самом деле оно не будет таким дорогим, и тем более учитывая тот факт, что на английском языке обучение в медицине достаточно дорогое в других странах. И поскольку Элизабет сама по себе американка, да, она из Америки, то она привыкла сравнивать образование, стоимость образования в США и стоимость образования в данном случае в Италии. И примерно с теми же рейтингами, с таким же качеством образования, как бы мы не можем сравнить стоимость. И Италия побеждает просто по всем фронтам. Стоимость не такая высокая. Помимо этого, что касается проживания непосредственно в Риме, да, вам хватит 10-12 тысяч евро на проживание, и Элизабет нам расскажет в дальнейшем во время презентации более подробные факты касательно опций для проживания для студентов.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the next two really quickly too, because that I think that it is important, but we don't want to waste too much time on this slide. You will not be penalized cost-wise for being a non-European student in Italy. So that is a myth. You will definitely see some differences maybe in the way that tuition fees are calculated for EU students, but this is not penalizing anyone. It is part of the tax system here in Italy.
И что касается стоимости для неевропейских граждан, да, вы не должны думать, что вас как-то штрафуют, да, или как-то хотят принизить. Стоимость формируется исключительно исходя из правил налоговой системы, и это касается всех неевропейских студентов.
So our next 2 points are actually true. One thing to keep in mind, if you're looking at Italy as a destination, is that we do not have any unified application processes or admissions procedures, let's say. I know some countries or some locations you can fill out one application form and send it to many different institutions. In Italy, every single university will have their own process, even if sometimes you might take the same exam. Like if you're looking at medicine, you will know that there is an IMAT exam for many of our public institutions, but each university has its own application process. So you want to pay attention to that and make sure that you know the dates, the deadlines, and the expectations for each different university you're interested in, and know that today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about applying to Università Cattolica.
И правдивый факт, то, что в Италии нет какого-то унифицированного, да, единого, скажем так, метода подачи документов в учебные заведения. В каждый университет процесс подачи документов немножко отличается. Будут отличаться дедлайны, будут отличаться стоимость заявления. Некоторые университеты делают бесплатно этот процесс, некоторые университеты берут регистрационные сборы. То есть Элизабет нам расскажет систему, которая касается непосредственно университета Католики. Конечно, вы можете ориентироваться на нее, да, и понимать, что другие университеты примерно те же самые документы будут просить, но все-таки чуть-чуть требования будут отличаться, и вам нужно будет обращать на это внимание.
And the last true statement here is that location definitely does make a difference. And I will go ahead and tell you why the location for Università Cattolica is optimal, not only because of the university being in Italy, but also because of our campus for medicine programs being located in Rome.
И, собственно, как сказать, локация имеет значение, да, и на карте вы можете видеть 5 кампусов Университета Католика, и, собственно, мой кампус, в котором обучаются студенты-медики, расположен непосредственно в Риме.
So you might see on this map that Università Cattolica has actually 5 campuses in 5 different locations. Each of our campuses has its own specialty, own area of study. So this is something to keep in mind because you will be a part of a larger community. And we have very carefully selected the locations for each of our campus based on the type of study that they are going to offer. So why was Università Cattolica's university hospital built in Rome? As you can see on this map, Rome is in the center of Italy. We're the capital of the country, and we are located in a convenient place in order for the entire population of Italy to be able to come and use the hospital services. So the location in Rome was chosen very carefully in order for us to build a teaching hospital and a university hospital that would serve not only the educational and academic environment for students coming from all over the country at that time and all over the world now, but also because that the university hospital was something that the country needed. We needed more healthcare. We needed another large institution where people could go in order to receive care. And this is why we have chosen our location in Rome, because it is central to the entire country and the entire population can access our hospital fairly easily. They have to drive a little bit or take a train, but it's much easier for people to come from the south to Rome and from the north to Rome than it would be for them to go from the south all the way to Milan.
И, собственно, на карте вы можете видеть 5 разных кампусов, 5 разных городов. У каждого кампуса есть своя специфика, есть своя специализация, и каждый город был подобран с учетом этой специализации. И, например, как я уже говорила ранее, медицинский факультет непосредственно находится в Риме, локация выбрана не случайно. Прежде всего, людям гораздо проще добраться с любой точки страны до Рима, непосредственно что с юга, что с севера, будет примерно одно и то же расстояние, да. Также Рим — это все-таки столица, и здесь достаточно много больших медицинских центров, и в том числе и госпиталей, в которые люди могут обращаться. Соответственно, локация выбрана более чем удачно.
This is also something very important to mention if we consider the response that Università Cattolica had and the role that we played during the COVID-19 pandemic. Because when the COVID-19 pandemic took place and we started having a lot of cases in Italy, first of all, Rome was the first city to have 2 centers dedicated specifically to COVID patients. So we had the hospital of Spallanzani, where they were doing also a lot of research, but Cattolica was the second hospital to put up immediately a COVID ward. So we were able to take care of patients from all around in the small towns outside of Rome that don't have a hospital nearby and that didn't have the facilities or the know-how or the capability to close down an area and make a special COVID ward. Cattolica took a piece of our hospital that was in a separate building, and we made this whole mini hospital that's attached to our larger teaching hospital a special ward dedicated to serve COVID patients and to start conducting research on the COVID-19 virus.
Ну и следует отметить, что во время коронавируса университет Католика не остался в стороне, да, и помогает пациентам, которые были заражены этой инфекцией, этим вирусом. У университета есть свое отдельное здание, где они организовали такой мини-госпиталь для людей, пострадавших от коронавируса, и прилагают все возможные усилия для того, чтобы облегчить как-то их ситуацию и, собственно, вносят посильный вклад в борьбу с коронавирусом.
So to give you a little bit of information about Università Cattolica in general, as you saw, we have 5 different campuses. So before I get into the details about the medical school specifically, I wanted to give you a little bit of a background on the campus and the university population as a whole.
И, собственно, немножко поговорим о фактах непосредственно касательно университета Католики. Элизабет нам расскажет, сколько же там человек учится, какие программы есть, сколько их всего, да, и сколько различных школ, в данном случае, я бы сказала, можно сказать, как факультетов в этом университете.
So as you can see from the numbers on this slide, just a few facts and figures, we have 12 total schools. What does that mean? That means that we have 12 different academic faculties that are teaching specific areas of discipline related to a number of different subject matters. One of our most popular is going to be business. For example, we have also international relations and food production. Now, these all became a part of a larger community. Once you enter Cattolica, you will be going to a campus where you're studying specifically medicine, and our entire campus is dedicated to the healthcare field. So you're going to be in a nice environment that's committed to your specific area of subject study that you're interested in studying. But you're becoming a part of a larger community with 40,000 students, more than 4,800 international students, and more than 580 partner universities. This is really significant, and you can see using the COVID pandemic as an example of why this is important. Because one, we have to contain the virus, understand how to make procedures and policies and implement regulations on a national basis and then on an international basis. Our university graduates were able to contact each other because graduates from Università Cattolica are doing all sorts of things. They are food production managers, meaning that they are out there in the field working with the control and the regulations related to agriculture, which was affected by the pandemic. And they needed to speak to the doctors who needed to explain how we needed to contain the virus. We also have political leaders. Members of our alumni are in the Ministry of Public Health and the Ministry of all over Italy in the governing body in general. And so you can see that when you are part of a larger community, this is something that will benefit you in the future, because maybe we don't think about it if we're focused specifically on becoming a doctor, but once you're out in the field, there are so many other reasons that you might need to interact with professionals from different areas of study. And Università Cattolica has a big community of people who have studied all sorts of different subjects, and you could reach the alumni when you are a professional and you've moved on into your career.
И, собственно, в университете Католики 12 факультетов, каждый факультет сосредоточен на своем собственном предмете, но они взаимосвязаны, да, то есть всего 5 кампусов, 12 факультетов, которые взаимосвязаны между собой, что облегчает процесс обучения для студентов и, делает их процесс обучения достаточно интересным. Помимо этого, это все-таки достаточно большое такое сообщество, это порядка 40 тысяч студентов в университете, из них около 5000, 4800 международных студентов. У университета очень серьезные, очень хорошие отношения и взаимоотношения, поддержка со стороны выпускников. Они поддерживают как начинающих новых студентов, так и сам университет в принципе, да, и благодаря этим связям, собственно, количество студентов от года в год растет, я бы так сказала. И они поддерживают друг друга, да, то есть во время коронавируса, например, факультет, связанный с пищевым производством, советуется с медицинским факультетом и с выпускниками, которые работают в этих сферах, для того, чтобы понимать, что мы можем сделать для того, чтобы оградить себя от коронавируса, что мы можем предпринять, чтобы, как-то приостановить этот процесс.
So now that I gave you a little bit of an overview about the Italian higher education system and also Università Cattolica in general, I'm going to talk to you specifically about our English taught program that's dedicated to medicine and surgery, students who are interested in receiving a medical doctorate at the end of their education.
И сейчас мы поговорили непосредственно про образование, высшее образование в Италии. Вы понимаете уже его структуру, немножко узнали информацию про университет Cattolica и перейдем непосредственно к медицинским специализациям в этом университете.
So first of all, I think when I consider why would I go to Università Cattolica or why would I send my child to study medicine at Università Cattolica, the first thing that comes to mind for me is definitely the academic faculty and the teaching quality of our education and curriculum. So first of all, we have been ranked in the top 150 medical schools by QS World Rankings, which is really a great achievement if you consider how many medical schools there are across the globe. For us to be in the top 150 says a lot about our teaching staff, the research that we put out, and the academic quality that our graduates will receive. When you go out into the world with a degree from Università Cattolica, you can know that the people in the field of medicine understand where you were educated and they respect what we have done for many, many years. I'll take a break so you can translate, then I have...
И если задуматься о том, почему нужно выбирать именно университет католики для того, чтобы в дальнейшем в нем обучаться, прежде всего это качество образования. Да? Как вы можете заметить, этот университет в этом году занял 150-е место среди остальных университетов мира по рэнкингу QS. Надо сказать, что рэнкинг QS достаточно уважаемое издание, и учитывая, сколько такое большое количество учебных заведений медицинских по всему миру, 150-е место, конечно, это большое достижение для университета. И люди, которые работают в медицинской сфере, которые видят выпускника с таким дипломом университетом Cattolica, они понимают, что за выпускник перед ними стоит, да, где он учился и что это за учебное заведение.
So we have been recognized for the quality of our teaching, not only in the English taught program, but also our Italian taught program. Now, the English taught program is quite new to the university and has been around for, I think, less than 10 years, maybe a little bit more. And one thing that I think is really important to mention is that we have a very innovative curriculum. So we designed this program not to change completely what we've been doing because it was working, and our medical professionals are respected across the world, like I said. So we didn't want to change everything about our curriculum. But when we decided to offer an English taught program, we also wanted to find an opportunity to innovate what we were doing, because we can see that the traditional Italian academic system works well to prepare students to go out and do their medical profession. However, there are obviously new ways of teaching, new ways of thinking, and new ways of approaching medical education and clinical research as well. So the English taught program is trying to give you a balance of the best of the two worlds, traditional Italian style with lots of theory, lots of really strong foundations in academics, oral examinations, which is extremely important for thinking on your feet, being able to respond to immediate questions, and critical thinking skills, problem-based learning, written examinations, which help you understand how to put that theory into practice from day one. We are interested in making sure that our students understand what they're studying, why they're studying, and how that will be used later on. So we are taking our traditional way of learning and making it better, trying to meet in the middle between some more modern ways of teaching and still keep our roots to make sure that you get the quality of education that Cattolica has always been known for at the same time.
Надо отметить, что не только англоговорящая специализация, на случай медицина, в этом университете признается международным сообществом, также и многие программы, которые преподаются на итальянском языке. Но что уникально именно в этой программе, то, что удалось соединить традиционное итальянское образование, которое, в общем-то, неплохое для студентов-медиков, Но университет принял такое решение, что можно что-то улучшить, да, новые методы обучения, новые методы исследований, то, что поможет студентам взглянуть на одну и ту же проблему с разных сторон. Поэтому они собрали, скажем так, самое лучшее, что можно было найти в образовательной системе Италии, и добавили новые методы, взятые от других коллег из других стран, возможно, для того, чтобы сделать такую комбинированную программу, которая позволит студентам проявить себя во всей силе, да, которая позволит студентам провести все свои исследования и, собственно, получить наиболее качественное образование.
So, as I was saying, one of the objectives of this class is to make sure that you also have this practical environment where you understand sort of the theoretical and the practical skills application of the theory to practice. And so one of the things that Università Cattolica can brag about is access to our teaching hospital. Universita's hospital is Policlinico Gemelli, has been ranked the best hospital in Italy by American Newsweek. The early access to patients comes in two ways, actually. You are going to be able to study right away in the hospital, and by your fourth year of the program, you're going to already be going into the clinical rotations. But before that, you are still actually learning from the people who are working in the hospitals to manage all of the different clinical wards. So in the classroom, in the laboratory, in your first 3 years, you're going to be working with case studies, you're going to be learning from the experts who are out there in the field doing things hands-on in the hospital every single day. So having a university hospital is a really great advantage for anybody who's interested in studying medicine. But at Cattolica, it's very nice because it's a close community, it's not so big, and you're going to be right in there with your professors who are working every single day on advancing the clinical phase, the research and the care for patients in the hospital.
И надо отметить, что один из главных принципов университета Католики – это применение теоретических знаний на практике. И с этим помогает справляться студентам непосредственно госпитали, расположенные на территории университета, и их собственный госпиталь Поликлиника Гемелли, если я правильно, надеюсь, я правильно это произнесла. И этот госпиталь в 2021 году был признан лучшим госпиталем в Италии по версии American Newsweek. Соответственно, для студентов это большое преимущество, да? Они на практике могут применить все свои теоретические знания, при этом это будет достаточно небольшое сообщество, все студенты узнают друг друга, все профессора знают своих студентов, и таким образом первые 3 года у них постоянно будет взаимодействие, не только теоретические знания будут получать, но также практические.
So the next few points on this slide actually kind of go together because we are a private university. Interestingly enough, we are the largest private university in Italy. And this is good for us for a couple of reasons, because it gives us the chance to offer you a very small class size. 80 students is not really a lot of people. You will join a program that has 30 EU residents and 50 non-EU students in each class. So you will actually be able to interact with your classmates on a very intimate level, and you will be able to access your professors. At a public institution in Italy, you might not be able to have the same freedom because maybe you have 100, 200, 300 people in the room. So we tried to keep a nice little small environment. This, as a private institution, also gives us the freedom to offer some better services to international students, and that includes our entrance exam, which I will tell you about a little bit later. But the entrance exam is not the IMAT, which is offered usually in September. And the reason that Università Cattolica chose not to participate in this standardized examination used by many universities in Italy is because that we know that international students need to know earlier if they have been accepted or not. So I will talk about our acceptance process and how the exam works, but it's really nice for you to know that we try as hard as we can to give you an early understanding of where you stand, especially if you need to get a visa. This is really important. So being a private university actually lets us to have more freedom to do these other things, like give a different entrance exam, have a smaller class size, and offer tiny little services that maybe other institutions in Italy don't have the freedom to do.
И другие преимущества, пожалуй, что объединяются в такое одно большое, да, они взаимосвязанные. Прежде всего, университет Католики — это частный университет, который предлагает возможность обучаться в маленьких группах для своих студентов. Это означает, что внимание со стороны преподавателей, профессоров университета будет сосредоточено на студентах. Студенты всегда могут обратиться к преподавателю по тому или иному вопросу, что, в принципе, не всегда достижимо в государственных университетах Италии. Помимо этого, из-за того, что это достаточно маленький университет, это означает, что они могут предложить наиболее, скажем так, лучший сервис для иностранных студентов. И как частный университет они решили отказаться от вступительного экзамена IMAT, который должны сдавать все студенты в начале сентября для того, чтобы поступить в итальянский университет, просто потому что университет понимает, что для иностранных студентов объявление решения о том, что они приняты в университет в начале сентября, в общем-то, достаточно поздно, да, мы все должны подаваться на визу, мы должны поискать себе проживание, соответственно, университет предлагает свою систему зачисления на эту программу, и чуть позже нам про эту систему Элизабет расскажет.
And don't forget that the program is taught in English, which is very nice because I think it gives more opportunity for people to come into the program. Not as many people know Italian already as they do English, but keep in mind that it also means that you will be studying in an environment where you're learning two languages at the same time, because you will be studying in English. You will be coming from a different background most cases, and you know another language, and you will learning Italian as you go. So this, I think, is another interesting advantage as to why you would want to study medicine with us.
И стоит также отметить, да, что вся программа абсолютно на английском языке, и это дает свои преимущества, потому что все студенты иностранные, они приезжают из разных стран, они говорят на своем языке, они обучаются на английском языке, и помимо этого у них есть также возможность изучать третий язык, итальянский язык, да, в перерывах от учебы, что является достаточно серьезным преимуществом.
So I'm going to talk to you about a few more things that you might be interested in that are a little bit less specific about our academic program, but talking more about Università Cattolica's response and our involvement in many important decisions that took place during the COVID-19 pandemic.
И мы поговорим еще о нескольких преимуществах непосредственно университета Католики для того, чтобы вы понимали всю значимость этого университета и, в частности, о его роли во время пандемии.
So I know that this is probably getting old, hearing about the pandemic all the time, but obviously if you're studying medicine and surgery, this is something that's really relevant to your field. And I think that it's important to know how Università Cattolica helped Italy, Italians, and the world around to understand things to do and the right way to act during the COVID-19 pandemic. So as I mentioned before, one of the first things that we did is that we established a COVID hospital. So we were one of the first hospitals in Italy that had its own ward dedicated 100% to managing the COVID-19 virus. This is significant because it means that many patients were sent to us because the other areas were overwhelmed and they didn't have the resources on the managerial side in order to understand exactly how to respond. But one of the things that Università Cattolica has always done traditionally very, very well is that we have a great hospital management. So this is something that you want to take into consideration, because when you have a major crisis like COVID-19 pandemic, being able to have a managerial staff that can respond immediately and coordinate with the expert medical professionals in order to quickly create an area dedicated to containing the virus, doing research and treating patients, it was something that is definitely worth mentioning and celebrating at Cattolica.
И еще раз, к сожалению, нужно упомянуть будет пандемию. Я понимаю, что все устали уже от этих разговоров ковид. Но, тем не менее, университет основал свой госпиталь для борьбы с этим вирусом, с этой инфекцией, для того, чтобы помогать Италии в целом и непосредственно итальянцам. И помимо того, что был организован госпиталь, также было понимание того, что необходимо достаточно быстро создать некую такую исследовательскую группу, которая будет изучать вирус, которая будет понимать, как лечить пациентов, которые пострадали от этого вируса, и, собственно, вносить свою лепту в борьбе с мировой пандемией.
Another thing that you want to keep in mind about how we helped and responded is that we had the expert professionals that are part of not only our hospital staff and our hospital medical professionals, but they are actually professors for the medicine and surgery program. So Luca Richeldi and Massimo Antonelli are two people that are worth mentioning today because that they were giving advice directly to the Ministry of Health in Italy. And Luca Richeldi was actually talking directly to the Prime Minister. He was called as a special consultant during this time because that he is an expert on the pneumology, and he had some infectious disease experience as well. So our professors were actually being called directly by the Ministry of Health in Italy to understand how can we contain the virus and what should we do in order to establish protocols and manage the pandemic on the side of public policy. So this is something really important to keep in mind, because that you won't even be in just the same hospital as these people, but they are teachers some of our courses for the medicine and surgery program.
И чтобы вы понимали, да, у каких преподавателей, у каких профессоров вы будете обучаться, мы упомянем двух людей сегодня. Это Лука Риккельди и Массимо Антонелли, два преподавателя Университета Cattolica, которые обратилось непосредственно в Министерство здравоохранения Италии для консультаций по ситуации с коронавирусом непосредственно в Италии. Более того, Лука Риккельди был назначен советником в данном вопросе и разговаривал непосредственно с премьер-министром, поскольку это его, скажем так, специализация, все, что связано с болезнями дыхательных путей. И это, конечно, заставляет университет гордиться своими преподавателями, и вам, как студентам, будет, мне кажется, очень приятно учиться у таких профессионалов.
So some other things just to keep in mind a little bit is that if you're coming to Italy, I don't know if you knew, but the Italian public healthcare system has been consistently rated the most efficient in Europe. And therefore, when this COVID-19 pandemic took place, there was an awful lot of conversation going on between different ministries and different countries in Italy and in the European Union as well. There's a lot of collaboration that takes place, and that is something that comes in Italy. I think it's really important to mention that if you're studying here, it doesn't mean that you're exclusively, connected to one hospital and one university and one way of thinking, because that in Italy, the idea is that there is an entire system. So everybody is working together. Everyone is working towards the same objective, which is to be a part of this national healthcare system and to ensure that the efficiency and the quality of care is upheld. And Italy is consistently ranked by Bloomberg as one of the healthiest countries in the world. And this is something really important to think about, because it takes a whole process. It's not just one person, one hospital, one unit that can gain such recognition for being the most efficient healthcare system in Europe or the most healthy country in the world. This is an entire process. That means that we're all connected, and our experts, that you can see two main names here, but if you go and you look up on our website some of our faculty members and you check the research that they're publishing, you will see that their publications are world-renowned advancements in both care, quality of the clinical experience, and treatments. So this is something that you would get at Cattolica, not only at the Gemelli Hospital, but in Italy, you're connected to this system, and our doctors, our professors are publishing research that is being read by doctors and public policy makers all over the world. So I think this is a really nice thing to think about if you're choosing a university both in Italy and specifically for Cattolica.
И что касается университета Католики, да, в принципе, система здравоохранения, она единая в Италии, и это означает, что вы, закончив обучение в университете Католики, можете работать где угодно, не обязательно при госпитале Гемелли, да, а вас университет погружает вот в эту единую систему здравоохранения, потому что каждая единица важна. Нету такого, что есть только один главный госпиталь на всю Италию и все, да, или там один главный специалист и больше никого кроме него нету. Это единая система, где важно каждое звено во всей цепи. И это тоже достаточно сильное преимущество для студентов, дает вам свободу выбора. Вы можете после обучения в университете продолжать свою рабочую деятельность непосредственно там, где вы хотите.
So something else to keep in mind specifically for Cattolica is our advanced facilities. Now, here we're mentioning our interactive patient simulation experience, which is something very unique. They don't have this at every hospital in Italy. And it also is an example of our technological advancements. So one of the other things that I told you that Università Cattolica's Gemelli Hospital excels for management and managerial professional experience, but we are also excelling in the information technology that we use in our hospital. We are one of the few institutions in Italy that is digital. We do have all of our reports are recorded on the computer, and we also have a whole lot of technology at our hands that we're incorporating in different ways into the patient care experience, into the research, and into all of our clinical facilities. So this is a place where Università Cattolica and the Gemelli Hospital are excelling, and we are leaders in this area in Italy specifically.
И надо отметить, что у университета достаточно хорошее оборудование для студентов, для их обучения, потому что у них есть, например, случаи реальных болезней, которые, скажем так, симуляции болезней, да, которые студенты могут изучать и делать свои исследования на базе университета. То есть оборудование университет предлагает самое передовое, самое последнее, и в этом-то и заключен успех союза между непосредственно госпиталем Гемелли и университетом, поскольку у студентов есть такая возможность на практике все почувствовать, каково это обследовать своего пациента, как нужно с ним общаться, какие исследования нужно провести, как именно проводятся эти исследования и много-много другого, что позволяет выделять этот университет среди всех университетов итальянских по медицине.
So I've given you an idea about why it's really nice to study at Cattolica, some things that we have done for the community and how we responded to the COVID pandemic. And now I would like to highlight one of my favorite things about the university, which is the fact that it's located in Rome. If you're going to come to Italy, there are so many beautiful cities to go to, but why not come to the Eternal City in Rome, where the center of everything has happened. And it is honestly one of the most beautiful cities in the world. No one can deny that it's a top destination for tourism, but we're also a great place to study for a number of different reasons. Like I said before, being located in Rome puts us at the center of Europe, which is a great place to be, not only because that we are connected to our own public ministries, but because that we also have a lot of UN organizations here. So I don't know if you're thinking about your career in the long term, but being a doctor at the end, there are so many different paths and different avenues that you might take. Perhaps you will go straight into a general practitioner and start caring for patients. Maybe you're interested in specializing in a field and becoming, let's say, a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a transplant surgeon. Or maybe you're not sure, in the middle of your course, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be more research focused. Finally, there's a whole nother area of the field that we've seen explode recently that I've talked a lot about today, and that's public health policy. And there are an awful lot of UN organizations and world leaders that meet regularly in Rome to discuss global health policy. So being in Rome is really convenient, not only because it's a beautiful city, not only because it's in the center of Italy, but because it's kind of in the center of the world. And it is a place where there's frequent activity on a global scale. So Università Cattolica can offer you not only a very nice local context that you can be a part of, opportunities to study, research, clinical practice, specialize in your field, but we're also going to give you a global outlook, not only on life, but also in your own particular area of study.
Мы поговорили уже непосредственно про преимущества университета Католики, и сейчас можем перейти к любимой части Элизабет. Это непосредственно локация университета, да, которая расположена в Риме. Да. Нет никаких сомнений о том, что Рим является одним из топ городов, которые посещают туристы. И на презентации вы можете видеть некоторые виды Рима. Да. И помимо этого, Рим расположен в центре Европы, что означает, что в нем также очень много различных представителей Организации Объединенных Наций, и это означает, что вы не ограничены только Италией, да, вы можете поработать где-то в международной сфере, не обязательно в Италии, даже несмотря на то, что вы учились в университете Cattolica.
And of course, I can't leave this slide without telling you that there are so many things to do in Rome. So we've been talking a lot about medicine and about your career and about your academics, but of course you're going to have a life too. So if you are tired of studying, or if you have had a rough day, or maybe you just finished that last exam and you are ready to celebrate before going home for a break, why not be in Rome, where you don't have to really plan too much, because you can just take a walk and you'll find things to do. It is really a pretty nice place to live, and I can tell you, at least for me, it has some of the best food in the world too, which is really nice. So not only do we offer you a good place where you can do your academic studies and start your career, but also a good place to unwind, relax, and enjoy.
И надо отметить, что Рим, опять-таки, достаточно большой город, в котором при этом в центральной части все находится рядышком. Вы всегда можете найти, чем заняться, чем отвлечься и, соответственно, посетить различные места, собраться с друзьями, где-то в ресторане, в кафе, там, где вам хочется.
So I will just really quickly tell you about a few services, so that even though you can be on campus, you can see our campus is a little bit set away from the center of the city, just a few train stops from downtown. But it is actually a really nice location for you to study and also to be comfortable, because that it is a very safe residential area where we have quite a number of different study areas, reading rooms. We have some sports facilities in case you want to take part in some extracurricular activities. And then we offer some on-campus housing. Now, the on-campus housing is a service where some of the dorms are located really right there next to the campus, but we also offer you some accommodations that you might find off campus, let's say dormitories or apartments that are also managed by our accommodation services. And then finally, like I said, there's food. In Italy, food is kind of an important theme. We have 2 dining halls and cafeterias on the campus, but actually we have a third one in the hospital. So you definitely can find lunch on campus any day. And we have 3 libraries as well. So if you need to study, you need to stay kind of in your little community here at the university. You won't be distracted. You will have everything that you need. And like I said, it's a nice, intimate environment where you're surrounded by the resources that you need to be a student.
И что касается непосредственно обстановки в университете, да, что можно студентам получить от университета на кампусе непосредственно, да, то есть в Риме находятся 3 больших здания, которые принадлежат университету. Помимо того, что вы будете обучаться, вы также можете заниматься спортом, проводить вместе время со своими друзьями из своего класса или из разных потоков, неважно. Есть проживание как на кампусе, так и вы можете частным образом его находить, но при этом вы можете участвовать во всех мероприятиях, которые проводит университет для международных студентов и для местных студентов тоже. Огромные 3 библиотеки, которые также будут нужны для международных студентов, для всех студентов, в общем-то, не только международных. И различное количество кафе и обедов, мест, где вы можете перекусить и пообедать также на территории университета.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked the slide. So a few extra things that I wanted to mention before we move on, but I'm sure that you're all ready to apply. So I'm going to get through to the next step, which is going to be our application process. But we do also offer you international study abroad experiences, which is an important aspect to bring up. Like I said before, Università Cattolica is a private institution. We have some liberty to do a few things for you that you might not find at other institutions. And one of them is definitely our global network. And we have a lot of study abroad opportunities for medical students, which is not always easy for medical students to do. And we understand that. We have an office that specializes specifically in helping our Faculty of Medicine students to find an opportunity abroad if they want to do it. So you can see a list of some of the programs that we offer here. But just so you know, there are 2 people dedicated to helping you to apply, to find, to understand where's the best place to go, how, for what reasons, and what your goals are in order to ensure that you can fit this into your curriculum. Because as we know, medical students often find it difficult to go abroad because they are trying to make sure that they don't miss any time in their studies. So our employees in the study abroad office are actually going to sit down one-to-one with you and make sure that whatever you want to do is achievable, and they will help you to pick the right program.
Также университет участвует в различных программах обучения по обмену. Вы можете часть списка этих программ видеть на слайде. И университет со своей стороны всячески помогает поддерживать студентов, которые хотели бы получить такой опыт обучения за рубежом, не только в Италии, а где-либо еще. Конечно, надо сказать, что не всегда это легко дается студентам-медикам, потому что программа все-таки обучения достаточно насыщенно, интенсивно, и не всегда они могут совпадать с программами других университетов, но для этого у университета есть специальные люди, которые помогают в зависимости от ваших потребностей выбрать для вас подходящую программу без ущерба для вашего обучения, без ущерба для вашего образования. И вам объясняют просто от и до, какие у вас будут возможности, какие программы вы можете взять. И со своей стороны университет оказывает полную поддержку при выборе вот этих программ и обучению за рубежом, не только в Италии.
So now that everyone's ready to apply, I will tell you how. First of all, like I said before, one of the things that we want to keep in mind is that we do ask for 12 years of schooling, but I want to tell you to rest assured that you don't have to be nervous about applying to Università Cattolica. Our program is something that the way that it's set up is that we require our entrance exam as the only criteria to evaluate if you have the competencies that we're looking for to study at our institution. So when you're interested in applying, don't be afraid to write to us or to talk to our admissions office, because we're not trying to exclude anyone from taking the entrance exam. We want to offer as many people the possibility to take the entrance exam as possible. And I don't know if it's similar in Russia. I know there are some other countries that work a lot on the standardized examination process. I like to highlight this because it's not that we don't want good grades, that you don't have to be prepared. Yes, of course, you're going to a medical school. You will need to be ready to study hard. But what we want to do is try to evaluate all candidates on the same level, on the same playing field. So this is a little bit different than if I was to ask the student from Russia to give me the top grades in biology and a student from the US the top grades in biology. Every system is a little different. Every student is different. Every school is different. So our goal at Università Cattolica is to see how you are prepared based on one criteria across the board for everyone. So when you apply, you can ask us as many questions as you want. If you want to ask us, okay, I did this school, how can I get in to take the entrance exam? We will help you with that. So don't be afraid of the application itself. I guess I'll take a break so you can...
И, наконец, настало время поговорить непосредственно о вступительных требованиях и экзаменах. Что касается университета, они достаточно лояльно относятся к абитуриентам, но это не означает, что вы должны не учиться совсем, да, у вас должны быть все-таки хорошие оценки, потому что вы поступаете на программу медицины, которая достаточно высокие требования ко всем студентам, поступающим, предъявляет. Не будет никакой, скажем так, университет старается не делать никакой разницы между европейскими студентами и неевропейскими студентами. Они пытаются как-то приравнять шансы всех студентов, несмотря ни на что, несмотря на разницу в образовательных системах, они пытаются приравнять, чтобы у всех студентов шансы были равны и одинаковые условия для поступления.
So what happens is that we will ask everybody to give us their information. There is also a language proficiency requirement, so you want to be aware of that. You don't need the language proficiency to take the entrance exam, but you will need to have it by, I would say, June or July at the latest, but preferably April, and I will tell you why. When we have the entrance exam take place, once the scores come out, we publish 2 lists of rankings. So we're going to invite the students to join based on the score of the entrance exam, like I said. The top student is put at the top of the list, whoever scored the highest, and then we move down from there. So we have 2 categories of students because our Italian taught program is open to EU residents only. So the English taught program was designed specifically with the intention to bring non-EU students to our campus. So we have 2 different sections for students. One are non-EU residents and non-EU citizens, and the other are EU citizens or non-EU citizens who are residents in the European Union. This is something just important to keep in mind because in the EU category, you will have 30 places available, and the non-EU category, there are 50. And like I said, the reason for this is because we were trying to make sure that we can have some non-EU students come to campus, since most of our other programs are open only to EU residents.
И надо сказать, что у университета, скажем так, 2 потока студентов, поступающих. Это студенты с европейским гражданством и неевропейским гражданством. Количество мест различно. Для европейцев всего лишь 30 мест, для международных студентов около 50. Сделано это именно с целью привлечения международных студентов неевропейцев для обучения в университете Cattolica. Но при этом университет старается их, как я уже сказала, в одинаковые условия посадить, да, у них экзамен проходит в те же даты, они получают свои результаты экзаменов в те же даты, и на основании результатов экзаменов, которые проводятся в начале апреля, 6 апреля в этом году, да, составляется в списке поступивших студентов, начиная с студента, который получил наивысший балл, и дальше ниже.
So what you want to do is know that you can apply right now. If you are in the last year or you're ready to apply because that you will be able to take the entrance exam this year, it's going to take place on April 6th and April 7th. Our office will call you into a specific date and time, and you will get to the entrance exam in one of two ways. If you're a European citizen, you're going to take it inside of a designated test center, and we have them all over the world. So if you're located in St. Petersburg, let's say right now, you can choose a test center in Russia somewhere that hopefully will be convenient for you if you have a European passport, because no matter where you live, if you hold an EU citizenship, you will be considered an EU student. For all of the non-EU students who are living abroad, you will actually be able to take the tests from home. Our preference is that everyone takes the test in person, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's very hard to manage. So all of the non-EU citizens will take the test online through a proctoring program. But wherever you take the test, it's going to be the same exact format, and it will take place either on the 6th or the 7th of April. So you want to start studying now. You can see on the slide what the makeup of the test is, and you will have some information on our website about how to study. But the best way to prepare for our exam is to use an online simulator that we provide to our candidates once they've applied and submitted their application and paid the application fee. So I don't recommend waiting until the last minute to apply, because like I said, the application isn't the scary part. The application isn't the place where we are going to exclude anyone. We actually want to help you get to the entrance exam. The entrance exam is where we find out if you have what it takes to study at Cattolica or not. So we want you to study for that test. So please go ahead and know that we will give you a tool that you can use to study because it's a computer-based exam. The simulator actually mimics exactly what you might find that day on the test. It takes you through the questions, it will make you understand the format, and it helps you also with the timing, because that it's a 65-minute exam. So you will understand as you go through the simulator if this is comfortable for you, if you're getting okay score or not, and you keep using it each day. The more you use it, the better chance you have of scoring well on our exam. So in order to get this simulator, you need to apply. The deadline to apply is the 18th of March, but I wouldn't wait that long. If I were you, I would start trying to use the simulator right now.
И говоря о вступительном экзамене, да, вы на слайде можете посмотреть, сколько всего вопросов, все вопросы с выбором ответов. Вы, соответственно, на слайде можете посмотреть, на какие темы будут вопросы. И самая хорошая такая новость, преимущество, помимо того, что у вас будут известны темы, которые нужно будет готовиться к вступительному экзамену, у университета есть также симулятор этого теста. И несмотря на то, что дедлайн 18 марта, дедлайн для подачи всех документов, не советуют, не нужно подавать в самый последний момент, потому что вам реально нужно очень много времени для того, чтобы подготовиться. Это экзамен не IMAT, но тем не менее он тоже требует определенных усилий, определенного внимания с вашей стороны. И чем быстрее вы подадите документы, тем быстрее вы получите все инструкции касательно вступительного теста и доступ к симулятору этого теста.
So the last thing I'm going to tell you a little bit about before we end today. Now, if you are interested in applying, you will want to understand how much it might cost for you to attend the university. So for non-EU residents, we have a flat fee of €15,800. And then for the EU residents, you can declare your taxes with our tuition fees office, and they will calculate your tuition based on your family income. So like I said in the very beginning, there are some differences between being EU or non-EU, but that is not because we penalize the non-EU students. It is actually because that this is the way that this university education has been set up in Italy and in many places in Europe, that you pay a tuition fee based on your family income. So you have the right to declare your income if you want to do that, if you earn an income within the EU. But for all non-EU students, it's much easier. There's no paperwork or headaches. You just know the flat fee is $15,800. Something else to keep in mind, we do have some scholarships available. The thing that we try to tell students is that it's important for you to be prepared to pay the full fee, especially if you're a non-EU student, because the scholarships that are available are not managed by Cattolica. They're managed by a regional entity and then offered through our campus services office that helps with also housing and sports and other things. But the reason we tell you to be prepared for the full fee are two. One, because it's important for your visa. So when you go and you apply for the student visa, they are going to double check and ask you to show that you can prove your economic means to live in Italy. And one of the things that they look at as well is the cost of tuition. And so this is something that you want to keep in mind, because they don't take into consideration any sort of scholarships that you might receive, whether it's going to be an Italian scholarship or something you got outside. So this is important. We want you to know up front. And then the other reason that we always recommend students be prepared to pay the full fee is because the scholarship opportunities that are offered by the regional entities here in Lazio, they don't have applications in a very convenient way. So you would actually accept your place in our program before you would be able to apply. And then the scholarship people who are going to receive it find out kind of late in the middle of the fall, maybe even sometimes after Christmas time, after the winter break. And the disbursement of the funds could happen as late as May, April, June, something like this. So you really don't want to end up being in a bad position. We want you to excel. We want you to thrive. So we just want you to know up front, these are the costs, these are the expectations. And then if you're fortunate enough to get a scholarship, that's amazing. But if you're counting on the scholarship, it might create some difficulties for you as far as the timing or as far as your student visa request. So 15,800 for non-EU students. Also, the cost of living in Rome, like I said before, in my opinion, is a really great deal for the fact that we are the European center and capital of Italy. If you compare the cost of living in Rome to other similar cities like London, even Milan is a bit more expensive than Rome. So for 10 to 12,000 a year, you should be more or less okay. Now, if you're gonna go buy like Gucci bags or something, you might wanna bring some extra money for that. But this is for just a basic budget.
Что касается стоимости обучения для студентов, не граждан Европейского Союза, стоимость обучения составит 15 800 евро. При этом университет может предложить некоторые стипендии, с которыми можно ознакомиться непосредственно на сайте университета. Надо отметить, для студентов-европейцев немножко попроще эта система со стипендиями, потому что они могут просто задекларировать свои налоги, которые были оплачены, и вместе с финансовым отделом университета посчитать, на какую сумму они реально могут рассчитывать. Да? Надо иметь в виду также, что да, вы можете надеяться, что вы получите стипендию, но ответ по стипендии может прийти несколько позже, чем само обучение начнется. Соответственно, это означает для вас, что вы не можете рассчитывать только на получение стипендии. Да? Все-таки нужно иметь примерно полную сумму по обучению для того, чтобы удачно пройти визу, все перипетии, да, и, соответственно, начать обучение вовремя. Также хочется отметить, что стоимость проживания в Риме достаточно лояльная по сравнению с другими городами. Это центр Европы, это столица, и тем не менее проживание стоит от 10 до 12 тысяч евро в год. Если мы посмотрим на Лондон, в котором только 10 тысяч фунтов, где-то там в пригороде Лондона это будет стоить, или тот же самый Милан, который будет стоить намного дороже, если мы будем снимать жилье там. Соответственно, это достаточно хорошая опция именно для проживания.
So that is it for my presentation. I did just want to kind of give you one sort of last thing to keep in mind, because I did mention before about the fact that Italy is a leader in public health, but I do think it's worth mentioning at the end. is something that maybe you didn't take into consideration. A lot of times when we're looking for a university, we're focused so much on the quality of the academics that we forget to think also about the larger context, because it's important that you know that the country is also invested in the academic system and in the healthcare field. And healthcare is a priority here in Italy. Università Cattolica is one of the leading hospitals, and we are a public hospital as well as a private hospital. So this is something that you want to keep in mind when you're looking around at other institutions. Take a look and see what kind of hospital services they offer, what kind of clinical training you offer, because Università Cattolica really offers a comprehensive package, and you get to see both the public side of things and the private side of things, which is something I find really unique and very difficult to find anywhere else. So I just wanted to end on that point so that you keep in mind as well the fact that not only are you entering into a world-renowned university, an academic location with a teaching hospital that has been ranked very highly on a number of different areas, clinical research, clinical oncological treatments. Like we said, US Newsweek has ranked us the best hospital in Italy, but also we are a part of the public and the private system. So you're going to know that there is an investment, there's an invested interest in your education, and there's an opportunity for you to continue your studies and be a part of a community that is definitely going to be needed and be moving on in the future. So just keep this in mind, because there's a larger reasons to consider our institution as well.
Надо отметить, что Италия признана страной с самым высоким качеством здравоохранения и самой здоровой нации среди европейцев. Университет Католики уникален тем, что он сочетает в себе все преимущества государственного медицинского учреждения и при этом частного медицинского учреждения, образовательного и, собственно, госпиталя, да, которое в таком сочетании дает неоспоримое преимущество для своих студентов и прилагает все усилия для того, чтобы вы применяли свои знания на практике, прежде всего, и были вовлечены в весь процесс от начала до конца. И если у вас есть какие-то вопросы, пожалуйста, пишите нам в чат, мы с удовольствием на них ответим. Не стесняйтесь, пока мы с вами, у вас есть уникальная возможность пообщаться непосредственно с представителем университета, поэтому будем ждать вопросов. I was telling about the questions, but we are waiting for some questions from the students and just checking the chart. Ребята, не стесняйтесь, пишите свои вопросы, потому что представители не всегда могут быть с нами, не всегда могут быть в доступе. И если у вас есть какие-то конкретные пожелания по университету, по стране или, может быть, по другим странам, пожалуйста, пишите, мы всегда рады помочь. И на последнем слайде вы также можете видеть все контактные данные непосредственно представительства компании Academic Consult, потому что мы являемся официальным представителем Университета Католики на территории Российской Федерации, и вы можете писать нам, если вы стесняетесь напрямую разговаривать с представителем университета, вы можете написать нам, мы всегда рады будем помочь. Меня зовут Екатерина, я работаю в этой компании уже порядка 11 лет, и с университетом Cattolica знакома не понаслышке, поэтому, пожалуйста, вы можете писать, звоните, как вам будет удобно. We do not have still questions, and just maybe one more minute, and I do believe that
Don't be shy. You can ask questions. We will answer. At least we will try to answer. I also just moved on to this slide because I think it's important to know, I gave a lot of information today, and a lot of the things were big topics as well. So it's great that you have this service available. If you have any questions and you want to contact me, again, I'm Elizabeth, and it's no problem to contact us through the university at the international office or the international admissions office. You can write, I saw a webinar with Elizabeth, and they will put you straight in contact with me. And I can answer all sorts of questions about Cattolica and life in Rome, our academic programs, but you have a great service available to you for someone who is going to help you to understand bigger aspects as well, because of course I want everyone to come to Cattolica. My job is to tell you that you should come to us. But I know that everyone has to look at more than one university and more than one institution. And so you have a great opportunity here to talk to people that can help you be sure that you're finding the right fit for you and that you're applying to other institutions at the same time, because of course we all know you have to have backup plans as well. So if Cattolica is not your first choice, as we wait for people to get the courage to ask questions, I just wanted to say I hope it'll be your first choice. I hope I gave you a lot of reasons why it should be, but if it's not, it's also a good thing to have as a backup plan, because if you pass our entrance exam and you make it onto the list of students who are eligible to enroll, we do keep calling people for enrollment until we hit all 50 spots for the non-EU and 30 for the EU residents. And I think this is important to mention because a lot of times people ask me, oh, what's the chance of me getting in? What percentage of the students do you accept? What score do I need to get on the entrance exam? These are questions that are hard for me to answer because that a lot of our admissions process depends not only on the individual candidate and the quality and your education and the ability to score high on the entrance exam. A lot of it depends also on the competition. So it's not something that I can predict. So this is something you want to take into consideration because we do need to accept 50 students. It is our goal to always fill all of those seats. We don't want to leave any of them open. So if students for some reason can't come, or maybe they decide they don't want to take that our offer to enroll, we keep moving down the list. So like I said, I hope we will be your first choice and you will do your best to become one of the top 50. But if you make it on the list, you know if you're eligible, there might be a chance that you could get called. So I do think Cattolica is a very good institution to consider, even if you have another top choice. At least you can try our entrance exam and see how you do, because you can't get an offer to enroll at a university if you don't apply. So don't be afraid, like I said, of our application. You might be scared of the entrance exam, but talk to the academic consult representatives, because they will help you understand how to do it, how the process works, and also how it compares to the other institutions you're looking at.
Ну и последний слайд. Элизабет хотела отметить, что это не проблема связаться непосредственно с ней. Вы можете найти ее контакты на сайте университета, также можете обратиться к нам. И, конечно, ее работа, прежде всего, убедить вас в том, что привлечь вас на сторону университета Католики, но это не означает, что вы должны себя ограничивать каким-то только одним вариантом университета. Вы можете спрашивать о разных университетах, в том числе непосредственно меня, нашу компанию, Академконсалт, и мы поможем вам в решении всех вопросов. Не ограничивайте себя в любом случае ни в чем. Естественно, было бы приятно, конечно, понимать, что вы заинтересованы больше в университете Католика, но если это даже не первый ваш выбор, да, не самый предпочтительный вариант, ничего страшного. В любом случае мы дали вам достаточно большую информацию. Зачастую от студентов можно услышать вопросы по поводу будущего трудоустройства, как это все происходит, каковы мои шансы. На самом деле здесь все-таки сложно предсказать, потому что нужно быть активным. Насколько вы активны, насколько вы стараетесь, прилагаете усилия найти какие-то подработки и как-то улучшить свое резюме, все будет зависеть от вас. Здесь, скажем так, сложно достаточно предсказать. Но тем не менее, спасибо большое за ваше внимание. Спасибо большое. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your presentation. We still do not have questions. I do believe in case if students would like to ask something, they will write to you or to me. And thank you so much for such detailed information about medical programs in Italy and at University Cattolica specifically. Всем спасибо, хорошего вечера, было приятно для вас проводить эту презентацию. До новых встреч, пишите, звоните нам и удачи.
Thank you.
Thank you.